Good morning again, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. This is going to be a response to a video I recently saw, in part, just now actually, about personality types and how to be less vulnerable, how to avoid unnecessary or unsafe exposure to predatory types of people. And it was with emphasis on grooming and the patterns that typically revolve around these kinds of people. Now, I want to just congratulate this person for their and applaud them for their efforts to keep people safe. And I understand that it's a serious subject. I do want to contend a couple of points that she made in the video. And in honesty, I couldn't make it completely through the video. I might try again, but I will link the video in the description. I want to just talk briefly about personality types and the hazards of labeling people, first of all. She talks about patterns extensively and draws a very clear line between predatory types of people versus the rest of us, which by itself... okay, so let me back up. First of all, there's something called normal interaction that I don't believe she's even acknowledging in her video. Maybe I should finish the video, but normal interaction she describes as casing if somebody is vulnerable and another person tries to break into them like a house, she says. And I think that there's a huge problem here, because what if somebody's just trying to be friendly and they accidentally, enter your house, so to speak, your figurative, mental house, or whatever she's describing, her soul, she said. I think that there's non-hazardous, natural, healthy interaction that could easily be misidentified as predatory by her description. And that's what I'm trying to say. But I'm not trying to just tear down her video. And again, I want to emphasize that the spirit is healthy, it's proper, it's she's reaching out to the community, it sounds like, and trying to keep people safe and protected, and I appreciate that. But there's also a hazard in drawing from television content, which she admits that she does in the video. She watched several docu-series and compares the behaviors of the people, the fictional, or I'm sorry, they're not fictional, it's based on real stories, but the actors are portraying them. It's based on historical reality, but it's a fictional retelling of it usually. And there's a problem because at that point it's being interpreted by a production crew, writers, creative writers, Hollywood, and also an authority with an agenda. And you can't just say that doesn't influence the output. Okay, it's going to be filtered through their language and their priorities, and you're going to hear a sensationalized version of whatever happened. First of all, with a great deal of omissions, emphasizing the points that the writers are going to try to sell you. So let's start with that. If your information is only based on television, we've already got a problem, but that's not the point here. The point is that many times there's interaction between normal, healthy people, and vulnerability is an asset in that case. So I want to say that one more time. She describes vulnerability as being universally bad. It's a weakness. Any kind of vulnerability needs to be managed, she said, such as an area of your house that has like a lock or a window that's easy to break into. She says that's an opportunity to manage it. Maybe, I guess, all right, why are you living in that part of town is my question. I mean, what if you're keeping your friends out? I mean, I guess you're always going to be there with a key. I mean, okay, so it's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying? In a relationship, it's being vulnerable is kind of the whole thing. You can't really, be a respectful, engaging person in any kind of friendship or loving relationship without being vulnerable. So I'm not trying to judge or analyze her, but how do you be happy without vulnerability? And she's just very against it, apparently. So last thing I want to say, this is going to be hopefully a pretty short video. This line between us and them, I get it. No, I understand. It's easier. It's easier in terms of your conscience to finally stick that label on somebody if they are, you know, a criminal. I get it, but what if that kind of thing is found in degrees, and what if it's a lot more common and the gray areas are much wider than you realize, even among your own friends and family? What if you only hear what people want you to hear, and if you knew the truth, you might be shocked and appalled even by your own reflection, ma'am? With all due respect, they say if a person saw their true reflection, they'd be shocked and appalled. Most of the time, it's very difficult, I think, to be realistic. It's easier to wag your finger and make rules and draw lines and say, you know, so and so is a predator because, you know, we've decided such. They're categorically 100%, and no one else is until we decide. Okay, well, hang on a sec. I think context is important. Let's not look at the snapshot, but the context which defines it. Now, I'm going to say that one more time. There's a hazard in labeling things based on the snapshot that gives them an improper meaning. The meaning of anything comes from what came before it and what comes out of it. The motive and the effect. I'm quite sure about this. This is like the substance of half my videos. Our rules, our laws are appropriate after there's been a problem. After there's been a crime, we can refer to them for guidance and prosecution when necessary, but not before there's a breach of agreement. There has to, you know, be a breach of agreement, some kind of damage. That's the nature of crime, or else it's what's called false accusation. It's called false prosecution, or, you know, eventually false imprisonment, that kind of thing. And unfortunately, I personally have experience with this, so I know what I'm talking about. If you are prejudging someone based on a snapshot, that is without due process, without investigation, and without consideration of circumstances, this is the big one here, without looking at what came before, their actual, what they were trying to do and what ended up happening, regardless of how you interpreted the instant event, regardless of how it looked on video or in a photograph, if you don't actually know what you're talking about, with all due respect, ma'am, it may not be what it seems. Okay, that's my point. And it's dangerous. It is outright dangerous to call people a witch, figuratively. Okay, we've done this before. This is not new. So before you go burning, you know, predators at the stake, which it sounds like this woman's about to do, maybe we should check our facts. Would that be all right if we made sure that we're correct about that? Made sure that it is who you thought, first of all, and that person was actually doing what you thought. Because, with all due respect, again, the television is not the authority. Okay. Reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com, and everybody have a safe, happy, loving day, and mind your business if you can. Thank you.